Hello, Canucks fans. Welcome back to another episode of Canucks Conversation, brought to you by Bet365. We're coming to you from the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios. Visit shoptoyota.ca or visit your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. My name is Dave Rodrelli. I am joined by Harmon Dial. Got some updates from Carolina as the Canucks practice at that beautiful practice facility for the Carolina Hurricanes. See the Canucks on the soccer field? They were
Yeah,
posting that. Do you see how much fun it looks like those players are having?
not as fun as UBC apparently.
Okay, all right. We don't need to start on that conversation right now. But yeah, Canucks practice in Carolina today. Updates
Oh, what
coming
I will say
courtesy.
though,
Sure.
Carolina, for as great as a practice facility is, one of the worst visiting locker rooms across the NHL. Every year
Really,
that the Athletic does the player poll, it's anonymous, and Carolina's road locker room and facilities just get destroyed. So
really,
so the practice facility is great, but they're actually actual game arena, which has been rebranded to Lenovo Center. It used to be PNC Arena, I think. The visiting teams don't love the resources. I think the Canes. I actually don't want to say that. I was gonna say that they might secretly like that opposing teams don't love the facilities there, but
you could say that.
I'm sure in an ideal world they would want to invest in upgrading those and get up to par compared to the rest of the league.
All right. I want to talk about the Canes, but they play tomorrow, so we're gonna save the conversation about the Canes specifically, probably for tomorrow. I have some things I want to say about them, but I think we'll save it for tomorrow. Canucks practicing Carolina updates coming courtesy of Sportsnet's Dan Murphy, who tweeted out line rushes and tweeted out that Quinn Hughes is absent. Drew O'Connor is absent as well. After practice, Adam Foote saying that Quinn is day to day and that Drew O'Connor is just absent with an illness. O'Connor should be good to go tomorrow night. And Adam Foote, it was a lot of we'll see, and I hope so when it comes to Hughes. So Hughes, day today, of course, Hughes has already missed 4 games this season. Left during the second period of that game against the Winnipeg Jets with what looked like a shoulder, wrist, something with his arm injury. Then he went back into the Canucks dressing room, the Canucks tunnel, got taped up, as he said, and then came out in time for the Canucks power play. Post game, I think it's worth mentioning, Hughes just called it a weird play. Didn't want to talk about anything beyond that when it came to that play. So we're kind of left a little bit in the dark with knowing exactly what's ailing Hughes right now, but not at practice today and questionable for tomorrow.
Yeah, at least it was encouraging that he came back in that game as quickly as he did and looked phenomenal when he did return. His skating primarily, which is unrelated to the play where he got tangled up with Scheifele, but even noticing when he was creating lanes for himself, he wasn't hesitating to fire the puck, to shoot it, which I was looking to see. All right, you got tangled up there. Are you going to be a little bit hesitant to shoot the puck? But I didn't really see him have limitations when he did return last night. So put it this way, I would have been a lot more concerned if Quinn hadn't come back and we were talking about him being questionable for tomorrow's game. The fact that he did come back, it obviously doesn't guarantee that it isn't serious, but it certainly feels that way.
I am Big Doggy in the chat said franchise is over without DOC. Don't worry. David Kampf is coming to town, folks. Do you want to save the Kampf conversation for anyone else?
We might as well talk about it now. I
All
don't
right,
mind.
let's do it. So David Kampf did not come into camp, no pun intended, looking to earn a spot, it seemed like, on the Leafs. He did not earn a spot with the Leafs. He has not had a good season so far. Contract termination. He's looking to rebuild his value. He's going to become a free agent tomorrow, assuming that no one claims him. Has not played a game in the NHL this year. Has played 4 AHL games. Has just 1 assist in those games, and it is expected that the Canucks, I think it was Dollywall, who said, the Canucks will definitely be in on David Kampf. I saw a lot of people on social media saying, the Canucks are probably the only team that can be like, hey, do you want to be a 2C? Because you can do that for us. David Kampf farm kills penalties, defense first, center, makes it an interesting I don't know if interesting is the right word, but the way Elias Pettersson's being used right now is like, we need you to be the offense, we need you to be the defense. David Kampf would help this team, I think.
Yeah, he's a fourth line center, but this team is currently icing two players in Lucas Reichel and Max Sasson that I don't think should be everyday NHL centers.
And I don't think the Canucks I think the Canucks agree with you because Reichel's ice time down to 11 minutes.
100%. And he just looks out of his depth there. Again, I'm intrigued to see whether he can be more impactful on the wing. He was more effective there in Chicago as well. And then even for Max Sasson, he was off to a good start and popped in some goals. But quietly, you look at the underlying numbers, the Canucks have given up a lot defensively in his minutes. He's a smaller body. He struggles in the faceoff dot. I like him more on the wing than I do at the center ice position. It's where in previous NHL stints before this year, Sasson was on the wing rather than at center. And that's key because now you have a conversation where even when Teddy Bluger comes back, and really I view Bluger and Kampf being similar players role-wise, where Kampf is a bit of a black hole offensively. You're not going to expect him to drive really anything at the offensive end of the rink, but it's the way he's going to be able to help out on a PK. Kampf also is, I think, 6 or 7 years in a row, at least 50% in the faceoff circle. Now, he's not Atu Ratu in the sense that he's not winning 55, 56% of his draws, but closer to the 51, 52% range, which will help a Canucks team that has more or less been destroyed in that department. And then it's the D-zone starts. He's used to a heavy dosage of D-zone starts. You look back to the 2023-24 season with the Toronto Maple Leafs, John Tavares was the only Leafs forward that had more D-zone starts than David Kampf that season. So they desperately need a Kampf-like presence in the short term to help out on the PK, and especially because Adam Foote, after last game, seemed to think that Bluger was more likely to miss the games this road trip than to actually draw back into the lineup. But then even when Bluger returns, there is still space for another NHL center. That's just how dire the Canucks situation is right now.
So David Kampf, how do you see this contract shaking out? Right? Like, that's kind of the question. Is the Canucks going to be able to offer him a great opportunity when it comes to where he's going to play in the lineup? But what do you think this contract is going to end up looking like? Like, some people are throwing out 2 years. 2 years for David Kampf in the middle of a season where he hasn't played an NHL game seems a little silly, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be offering him a multi-year deal. And honestly, I'd be pitching it as you're going to get an opportunity here that you wouldn't get elsewhere. So if you have a good year, why wouldn't you want to cash in on July 1st as a free agent again? Kampf's last deal as well, it's coming off a $2.4 million cap hit. He got paid. He got paid more than Teddy Bluger. And so, yeah, I would only want to go 1 year, even though Bluger comes off the books. So technically you could think, hey, if we want to keep one of these guys as defensive specialist beyond the season, we could offer Kampf the second year. But he's also, he's going to turn 31 years old in January. So he's not exactly young, and you want to see what exactly he has left in the tank. Now, personally, I think it's a lot of why he's fallen off the radar with the Leafs comes down to the coaching change they had, where certain coaches just have their guys that they really like, that they really don't like. Under Sheldon Keefe, David Kampf was not just used as a fourth line center, but at times as a third line checking center. I actually want to go back to the ice time to specifically cite it, but they were using him for, as I mentioned, a ton of D-zone starts, tougher matchups than maybe you'd expect. Yeah, he was averaging 15-18 in the 2022-23 season, 15-16 in the 2021-22 season, and then was around 13 and a half minutes in the 2023-24 campaign. And then you could see under Berube, he just wasn't even an everyday option for them, was healthy scratched at times in the playoffs, and then ultimately didn't make the team. I think a large part of his fall off in Toronto was just he was a great fit under Keefe, and Berube just didn't value him the same way. I'd imagine in part because he's not a physical hard to play against presence, and we know that Berube coach teams love having those bigger bodies in that bottom six.
I think he's a fit with Foot.
I mean, he's icing Lucas Reichel and Max Sasson right now. So, yeah, I think Adam Foote would probably be happy having a veteran who can take draws. And again, it's just watching Elias Pettersson play right now. It's the number of times he's not just having to match up against top lines, but start in his own end. It's a ton to ask of him right now. And having just another centerman that Foote can trust to be out in those situations is massive, because this is one of the other things we should maybe talk about is Atu Ratu. I think he's come into his own over the last week or two, and yet he even is averaging less than 13 minutes of ice time. Right? Imagine before the season I told you that Filipino's going to be out of the lineup. Your 2C is Lucas Reichel. You got Max Sasson as an everyday center, and Atu Ratu is averaging less than 13 minutes of ice time. You would be surprised to hear that. And I think it's reflective of even Atu Ratu hasn't fully earned Adam Foote's trust yet, which I actually think Ratu should be getting more ice time, especially when you look at his defensive analytics. But that's important to keep in mind when we have these Kampf conversations as well, is as much as we've spent time pointing to Kampf and Reichel to Sasson as Reichel, as clearly they're not everyday NHL centers. Ratu at least clears that bar, but it's not as if Adam Foote is giving him top 9 like usage either.
I am Big Doggy in the chat said, Harman, you sold me already. Sign this guy right now. He's got to clear waivers, but as of 11 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, the Canucks would be able to sign him, as with the other 31 NHL teams. Although I don't think the Leafs are going to re-sign him. So we'll see where this goes tomorrow. We'll have an update, hopefully, by the time the show goes live tomorrow. All right. Let's get to anything else from Canucks practice? Any other numbers you want to talk about, Harm?
Yeah, let's move on to the stat of the day, which is a presentation of Uber Eats. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins, if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every hockey fan's experience all season long. Hashtag crave the stats. I wanted to focus in on some of Marcus Pettersson's PK results. We didn't talk about the game that much last night, but we knew one of the themes was, all right, they allowed another pair of shorthanded goals. And the first one especially, Marcus Pettersson's just inexplicable decision when he had the puck in the defensive zone corner to make a pass to Kiefer Sherwood right in front of the net when he could have just cleared the puck. That's from a savvy veteran. That's a rookie kind of mistake. You don't expect someone who's been in the league as long as Marcus Pettersson has to make that kind of mistake. And sure, Kiefer Sherwood, should he have gotten the puck out in that spot once he did receive the pass from Pettersson? Sure. But I'm sure Kiefer Sherwood was panicking, didn't expect to get a pass right in front of the goaltender with pressure on him. And it's Marcus Pettersson that put him in a tough spot. So looking at the numbers, and I know you have to take these with a grain of salt because there are other parts around him that have changed, right? The PK forwards have changed. The just overall structure hasn't been as tight. So it's not to point the finger at one guy, but looking at the difference between Pettersson's PK numbers last year to this year is just so jarring. So last year in 31 games as a Canuck, 74 minutes on the PK, just 4 goals against. This season so far, 18 games played, 61 minutes shorthanded, 14 goals against. And it's not just a luck-based thing either. The rate at which they're surrendering high-danger chances has skyrocketed. So last year it was 17 high-danger chances against per 60. This year, it's nearly triple that at 43 high-danger chances against per 60. So they're getting torched, and it's not just like you're seeing some of these mistakes kind of add up. There was that play we just talked about against Winnipeg, against Minnesota, the Matt Boldy entry where Pettersson wasn't tight enough to close that gap, allowed the entry, and then Tarasenko ended up scoring. But then also just unable to take away those seams down low, especially the east-west passes. That's where you expect Marcus Pettersson to be better. And again, I want to make sure that we're contextualizing this properly as far as pointing out that recently you've been seeing a lot of situations where the Canucks PK forwards sort of are running out of position a little bit. They're pressuring the top, which I like high pressure PKs, but they're not recovering well enough. And there ends up being a big gap sometimes between the forwards and the defensemen, which puts the D in a bit of a tough spot. So it's the overall structure that isn't working, not just, again, one guy. But Marcus Pettersson, in my mind, is absolutely part of these struggles because he was so lights out last year. In fact, that was probably the most impressive part of Marcus Pettersson's game last year, was even more than his 5-on-5 impact on the second pair, was him coming in and being an absolute monster shorthanded.
Yeah, he was part of that strong PK that the Canucks had. And again, Derek Forbort got a lot of flowers for that, but Marcus Pettersson was a big part of that. Where did it go? Someone said, yeah, Dylan McDonald, regular listener to the show, he said MPD has been the most disappointing Canuck this season for me. Taking a good amount of penalties as well. Hasn't been able to do things that the team needs him to do. That's from Dylan McDonald. Yeah, I've noticed that about Marcus Pettersson. Now, I don't think we need to go rehashing trades, but, you extend Marcus Pettersson because you thought he was going to be a real good piece for you as a 3-4 defenseman. Hasn't really been that so far for the Canucks. He skated today, like we said, at morning skate. I didn't really go over the lines. He skated with Tyler Myers. P.O. Joseph skated in the Hughes spot with Philip Peronic. And if you're just joining us, Hughes not at practice today. Day-to-day questionable for tomorrow against Carolina. So you're going to be relying on Marcus Pettersson quite a bit.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I didn't have much to add beyond that on the Pettersson conversation.
All right, let's get to Family Feud. I think it's a good time. Let's do it. Let's have some fun here. Jacob, take it away.
All right. It's nice to be back. I was off yesterday. Thank you to Jake Fraser for filling in. Heard the show went well. So, but it's time for Family Feud. And also, first time back at home, which I think we all agree, a little easier to play Feud from home. So,
way easier.
Definitely. All right. You guys lost last week. I think that was 2 losses in a row. You guys started 6-0. You're down to 6-2. I'll say I like your chances of a bounce back. There is a fairly easy path to victory. Just clean up the number 1s and number 2s, and you guys will have no issues. Harm, you're going to go first, or do you guys want to switch it up? 2 losses in a row isn't enough, but hey, if we get to 3 losses in a row, you might have to
honestly, even if we do, though, 6-3 is still... We'll see. We'll have that conversation. Hopefully we don't have to have that conversation.
All right. For those of you that are new, we play every Thursday. These questions or the survey was sent out to Canucks Conversation listeners. We take 100 responses, and Harm's going to go first. He'll have 25 seconds on the clock. His time will begin when I finish reading the first question. Harm, if you can't think of a response, say pass. We will come back to it at the end. Quads, have you disconnected? I think so. I think he has, yeah. Swapped his AirPods over, listening to some music. All right, Harm, you ready to go?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being unlikely, 10 being definitely happening, how likely do you think the Canucks are to clean house after this season?
7.
What year will be the next season that Quinn Hughes doesn't lead Canucks defensemen in scoring?
Next season.
Rounded to the nearest 500K, what will the AAV of Sherwood's next contract be?
4.5 million.
Rounded to the nearest 5, how many points will Tom Verlander put up this season?
20.
Other than Adam Foote, name a Canucks assistant coach since 2020.
Mike Salt. Since 2020.
Yeah. 3, 2,
Uh,
1.
Whatever. Fine.
I'll give you Mike Sullivan because I do think some people answered that. So
Yeah,
I'll give
I just blanked on it completely.
fair enough. All right, I'll tally you up.
The
Flag
clock.
quads down. I don't
think he's caught.
You might have to text him.
Hey, hi, sorry. How'd it go?
I started decently, but I choked at the end. Just I don't know what it is. Sometimes you see the clock running down, and your brain just completely freezes up.
Yeah. Dude, you're gonna tell me. I hear you. It's all good.
I was feeling pretty good about it till the end, and just I don't know.
Good. I asked chat how you did. No one's responded to me yet. People finally have stopped putting answers in the chat, which is good. But I want to see how you did according to the chat.
I need about 10 seconds. I have to go back and listen to one of his answers again.
Take your
I'm actually so mad about that last one.
I don't even want to ask you questions because it might be our chat's so sensitive to cheating. They think everything's cheating. Anyway. Oh, here's one for you, Harm. The weekend, we didn't even talk about this, and we'll probably have an answer tomorrow, so I don't think we can really talk about it. But we'll get into it in anyone else. But a question I have for everyone is just like, how would you do the goaltenders this weekend? You don't have Thatcher Demco, Yuri Patera, and the reason I bring it up is that Patera is being brought up in the chat right now, and Spencer Martin didn't get claimed. We can talk about why Spencer Martin didn't get claimed, but folks, go look at that contract if you're wondering. Yuri Patera. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, just go Kevin Lankinen." I say Patera gets a start. You've got to start Yuri Patera.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. All tallied up. Harmy got to 93 points.
Oh, that's good.
Not great.
107 remaining.
Don't you worry.
All right, Quads, you'll have 30 seconds on the clock. If you give one of Harmon's answers, I will ask you to try again, and you'll hear the buzzer. There it is. If you can't think of an answer, say pass. We'll come back to it at the end. Okay. Questions are a little long. I'll try to read them fast, and I'll give you a bit of grace at the end if you run over time. So,
okay.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, how likely do you think the Canucks are to clean house after this season?
9.
What year will be the next season that Quinn Hughes doesn't lead Canucks defensemen in scoring?
Next season.
Try again.
Like 8 to 9 years from now.
Okay, I'll take it. Rounded to the nearest 500K, what will the AAV of Sherwood's next contract be?
$5 million.
Rounded to the nearest 5, how many points will Tom Verlander put up this season?
20.
Try again.
25.
Other than Adam Foote, name a Canucks assistant coach since 2020.
Yogi Svechkovsky.
Perfect. We'll give you Yogi. Yeah, sorry, I was a little slow on some of those questions, but you still got it.
Like 3 times, Jacob.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just messing around. It's fine.
I know it was tough because I was trying to remember Herman's answers while reading these.
Yeah. Dude, you don't got to tell me I've hosted Feud. That's hard. That's hard.
All right. Well, let's see if you guys got there.
That last one was the one where I saw like 3 seconds
answer.
left on the clock, and my brain just went, all right, you're gonna freeze up.
I was thinking about Yogi recently.
Yeah. So some bad news for you on the first question. Nobody said 9 or 10, Quads.
Oh my gosh. Get a grip. People.
Wow, okay.
Only 11 people said 7, which was Herman's answer.
Demand more from this team.
The number one answer was 3.
That's insane.
Really?
People need to expect so much more. Well, I guess they shouldn't expect much more, but they should demand more from this team. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like the sentiment might have changed. Yeah, you remember, right? Like this survey went up last Friday. A lot of people filled it out Friday afternoon before the weekend.
Or maybe even at the start of the week after the weekend games. Yeah,
that's true, right? So like you got to remember when people are filling out the survey, a lot can change in a week, as we know in Canuck land. So tough start there. Let's see. There's still a way to win this.
We're 6-3.
What year will be the next season that Quinn Hughes doesn't lead the Canucks in scoring?
We should have got 1 and 2 here.
Not quite. So next season is number 2. The number 1 answer is actually 27-28. So that's assuming that Quinn Hughes plays on the Canucks next year and then is gone.
Defensible answer.
No.
Quads. I'm going to give you 2023 or 2035, 36, which would be Hughes signs an 8-year deal, and then that's the first year after his 8-year deal. That's what I'll give you for your 8 or 9 years from now. 12 points for that. Harm, you got 22 for your answer. So yeah, that brings you guys up to 105 with 3 questions to go. Rounded to the nearest 500K, what will the AAV on Sherwood's next contract be? Harm, you got the number 1 answer, 4.5. Quads, you said 5. That was number 2 answer. So 35 and 29 points there. So good. You guys are down to 66 with 2 to go. It's possible. It's possible.
Don't gaslight us, Jacob.
Rounded to the nearest 5. How many points will Tom Verlander put up this season? You guys both said 20. Quads, did you go up to 25 or down to 15?
Well, okay, I went down.
You should have went down. 15 was the number 1 answer. 20 was the number 2 answer. Quads, you said 25. Only 11 points there. So
what was
you guys
15 worth? What was 15 worth?
31.
Ooh, that would have made it close.
So yeah, you guys need 55, and you're not getting 55 on this last one. So
what was Yogi worth?
Yogi was the number 5 answer, only worth 6 points.
All right, never mind.
Harm said Mike Sullivan.
I was about to, and then I was like, oh crap, since 2020.
2 people also said Mike Sullivan. So you got some points there. Mike Yeo was the number 1 answer. Mike Yeo. And also
Gonchar?
up there, few votes for Gonchar. Yeah. Manny Malhotra was actually number 2, which technically he was there because 2019-20 was his last year as the assistant coach.
Yep.
Newell Brown, Jason King, Nolan Baumgartner, some good names in there.
We're 6 and 3.
It's crazy that
Down
since
to 6 and
2020,
Yeah.
if you include you've basically had 1, 2, 3, 4 coaching staffs.
Isn't it 5? Travis, Bruce. No, I guess just talk.
Foot.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
LC250 speaking facts in the chat. He's saying this to Jacob specifically.
Right.
When you do a rating system on one of the questions, you guys, Jacob, should use a smaller range. 1 to 10 is a big range, making the answers more sporadic and fewer points for each answer.
That was intentional because when I was doing 1 to 5 ranges, you guys were getting like 80 points out of it. So I had to go up to 1 to 10.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, like
No
this
problem.
this 1 to 10 scale actually gave me exactly what I was looking for. A number 1 answer with 30, a number 2 answer with 20. Like that's perfect, right?
But we didn't get it.
You guys didn't get it, and Quads also guessed one of the 2 that didn't get any votes. So I'll do some 1 to 5s, but sometimes I need a wider spread because if it's just 1 to 5, like the number 1 answer might get 52 points. Then you guys get that number 1, you're over a quarter of the way to a victory. So I've done enough of these surveys over this year plus now to know when I need to adjust the questions to manipulate the data.
Well, 3 losses in a row. I think it's time.
1 to 5 scale is like going on, or a 1 to 10 scale is like going on the road for 3 games and 4 nights. And then a 1 to 5 scale is like having Nashville in on the second leg of back. Although Nashville dummied the Canucks last year. I was just trying to name a team that did very poorly. Having Calgary in, right? When you have a 1 to 5 scale, it's like having Calgary in playing the second leg of a back-to-back.
Flawless analogy, Harm. Great work. All right, let's go. Let's get to anyone else, which is a presentation, of Pacific Toyota dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid, a no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. You can drive up to 72 kilometers on the battery alone and then seamlessly transition from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. There's no sacrifices when it comes to horsepower or style with its sleek, low and wide exterior and sophisticated interior. It's loaded with tech that's actually easy to use. Plug in to recharge at home or at one of the over 2,000 public charging stations in BC alone. And now you can lease a 2025 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $99 weekly at 3.49% APR for 64 months with $3,600 down, and it includes a $3,000 discount. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. All right, we've got some good anyone else here. I want to start anyone else. First of all, Larry Brooks passed away today. Absolute legend in our industry and obviously our condolences to Larry Brooks' friends and families. But one thing I wanted to say about Larry Brooks is just when I was coming up, there was a few people that I really admired. Jason Botchford, chief among them, obviously. But with Larry Brooks, like the thing that always stood out with Larry was that he was always curious about the game and how the game was changing. And I think you also see it when players talked about him and talk about him now. They talk a lot about a guy that knew the game at a high level and kind of was on that wavelength. And I feel like today there's a big there's I don't know, I don't want to call it an arrogance, but some people feel like, oh, okay, I know everything there is to know about the game. And I think it's a good reminder for all of us that the game's always changing and you should always be trying to figure out what's changing about it and trying to be curious about the game that you're watching and not just having your preconceived notions of the game and sticking with it, talking to players and figuring out how it's changing from their perspective as well. And again, Hockey Hall of Famer, Larry Brooks passed away today at 75, and I wanted to make sure we mentioned it. Dude's an absolute legend, titan of our industry, and he'll be missed.
He was the first name that you thought about when the idea of Rangers reporter would come up. He was the voice of Rangers coverage in that market for so long. He shaped the narrative around the team, and you could see even in just the way Jimmy Vesey tweeted about him. Henrik Lundqvist wrote a great story as a tribute to Larry Brooks. To have Henrik Lundqvist, who obviously was in New York for so long, and Larry Brooks actually was the one that gave him the King Henrik nickname that stuck. It speaks volumes to have a legend like Lundqvist speaking so highly about Larry Brooks. And of course, the other thing that always comes to mind is how he was curious, but also when he believed something, he didn't back down from it. And that's always, in my mind, the mark of a great journalist. And of course, you saw a tidbit of it when, he and John Tortorella would get into it. And obviously by the time Tortorella left, him and Larry Brooks ended up reconciling. However, I think just overall, even the last few years, seeing some of the stories when there was so much locker room turmoil, he was the guy to go to get insight on what exactly was going on in that locker room. And that he was never going to sugarcoat anything. So a massive loss for that market, a massive loss for the sports writing industry as a whole.
Yep, 100%. Couldn't have said it better. I also wanted to mention this. I read this today in the New York Post article about him. His son said that Torts called Larry this week to just check up on him because Larry had been sick and Torts called. So again, you bring up the Torts thing. People in the chat obviously are bringing up Brooksy versus Torts and all those battles over the years. But like you said, they were on good terms at the end. So yeah, really, he'll be missed. And again, there's no easy way to transition away from that, but I wanted to at least make sure we mentioned that, and I wanted to make sure it was not one of those things that I ended up missing or forgetting to mention. So let's get into the chat here. We've got some questions. We've got some comments. This is from LC250. Let's start with this one. He said, why is there not more talk about Atu Ratu's impressive play so far, despite leading in defensive zone starts? He was a heavy focus of the last statsies. The game against the Jets, he played really well. A lot of his underlying numbers were really, really strong. And you actually gave him some love earlier in the show today.
Yeah, I think his impact has been subtle. He hasn't been doing a lot of loud things that grab people's attention, but he's holding his own in this role, and considering how desperate the Canucks are for players to make an impact down the middle, he should be getting more, I think, opportunity. This is a Canucks team that generally has struggled to control 5-on-5 shots and chances this year, but you look at the numbers, they've controlled 55% of shots during Atu Ratu shifts, and it's not just about the shots, it's actually translated on the scoreboard too, where they're outscoring teams by a decent margin. I believe 60% of goals. It's 9 goals for, 6 against, less than 2 goals against per 60. So defensively, he's been holding up his end of the bargain. You see his impact, especially down low in the offensive zone when it comes to winning battles, extending plays. being in the right positions, that he hasn't maybe taken the massive offensive step that I think a lot of people were hoping for, but his two-way game has been pretty solid. And I do think anytime I see Atu Ratu with the puck in the slot, he rips it. And I think there is still some upside from that perspective as a goal scorer if you do bump him up to playing close to the 15, 16 minute range per night as opposed to 12, 13 minutes.
I am Big Doggy asked this one yesterday, and I said ask it again, and he did. And he said, what does a trade package look like for Quinn as a rental versus Quinn with a sign-in trade? And it's a good thing he asked this, because I called a couple people about it, and we were just chatting about a Quinn trade. And there's not much precedent. We brought up Noah Dobson the other day as well. That's an example of sign-in trade, but I was looking at it, and you can't find much precedent other than the fact that the Canucks are going to get a haul for Quinn. And I don't think it's going to be too different depending on the timing. I think it's going to be different depending on which teams are going to do it. So with that in mind, like, if you make him available, let's just say he's available ahead of this year's trade deadline. Okay, they know he's not going to re-sign, and he's available ahead of this year's trade deadline. Just for the sake of this comment, okay? And don't clip this, Jacob. Let's say Quinn's available ahead of this trade deadline. Who's going to be calling for him, right? Like, do the Colorado Avalanche, who are going to be near the top of the league, say, yep, we want to go get Quinn Hughes? Because you're going to have to give up someone that is someone you probably don't want to give up to get Quinn Hughes. And do the Canucks say, well, we want to broaden our horizons? Because, like, teams that are out of it aren't going to be trading for Quinn Hughes, right? And that's going to, like, theoretically, it could lower the amount of teams that are interested in him if you're looking at purely as a rental. This is something I think gets done in the offseason unless Quinn wants it done sooner, I think. Do you think that's fair to say? Like, I don't think the Canucks are going to be rushing to trade him at the deadline unless Quinn wants to be out of here.
Yeah, I fully agree. In the offseason, you're better able to have that conversation of first making the push to try and get him signed once he is extension eligible on July 1st. And if you realize this isn't going to be possible, then I think that's when the Canucks need to move proactively. And I don't think if they have an indication next summer that he isn't going to want to stay, then I don't think you can wait until next year's deadline. No, that would be so foolish.
That's so reckless. That's so reckless.
Oh, that has to, in my mind, this is an off-season matter.
Yeah.
Unless, again, as you alluded to, things go so off the rails that Quinn is so miserable and comes to you and says, "Get me out of here."
Yeah, like, if Quinn's doing post-game pressers and looks dreadful, then maybe he doesn't want to be here. Not that that's happened yet, of course, but if that sort of thing happens all season long, you might be looking at something at the trade deadline. But in terms of the package itself, I don't think it's going to be too different. Like, they're going to get a haul for Quinn. It's not going to be, oh, we got to wait because we're going to get more. It just means that you might have more teams bidding, which could mean you get more in the package in return. But, like, the Canucks aren't going to short themselves on the Quinn Hughes trade. And I also want to say this. I've been talking about how, like, okay, like, it would be a mistake to do a win now trade where they trade for guys in their late 20s, mid 30s or whatever, or excuse me, mid to late 20s. Trading for those guys would be a mistake. I was talking about that. I dove in on that yesterday. I don't get the sense that that's what the Canucks are going to do. Like, if it's truly over with Quinn, I don't think they're going to do that. I'm just, that's the sense I got when I was calling some people about it today. I don't get the sense that if it happens that the Canucks are seriously thinking that, yeah, no, we just need our Mackenzie Weegar and our Jonathan Huberdeau and we're going to be good to go. That's not the route that the Canucks are going to take, I don't think. Even though, I'm sure there's going to be people that are skeptical of that, and I don't blame them. But I do think the Canucks are going to do what I think is the right thing and go for those future assets in a Quinn trade.
That should be the bare minimum, right? You're sitting around the bottom 5 of the NHL standings with Quinn Hughes right now. Now, what does your roster look like if you try to replicate your version of the Tkachuk trade where you're trying to find your Weegar and Huberdeau? it'd be ugly. So that's the bare minimum. It's something that we shouldn't even, if it gets to that point, we shouldn't even be giving them credit for.
Someone in the chat said they would 100% take win now pieces and then use the picks they get to trade for more win now pieces. No, don't put that out there. Don't put that out there. Yeah, and Mike in the Valley said, but wouldn't you get way more from Hughes if a team gets 2 playoff runs with him? Yes and no. Like if a team, and someone brought up Carolina, okay? You know, they struggle to get to keep guys around. If they get the chance to add Quinn Hughes at the deadline, they will take it. But if you call Carolina in the offseason and say, hey, do you want Quinn Hughes? It's not like they'd hang up or be like, no, now it's drastically different. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yes, theoretically it would be more valuable, but you have Quinn Hughes. Like, you're the prize. And when I say that, like the Canucks have what the teams want. So theoretically, you're right. Like, 2 playoff runs with Quinn is better than 1, but those teams that would be interested in him at the deadline, they're not going to go away in the offseason. And like we've been saying, in the offseason, theoretically, there would be even more teams than were interested in the deadline, which in and of itself should raise the price on Quinn Hughes, create a bit of a bidding war, if you will. So anyway, anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. Yeah, this is funny. All right, let's go to the Abbotsford Canucks. Couple things. Atu Ratu, the next great Canucks goaltending prospect, picks up his first AHL victory in a shootout as the Abbotsford Canucks win in front of tens of fans at the Abbotsford Center.
Not even the Abbotsford Center anymore.
Well, it was last night. We'll get to that in a second. It was still the Abbotsford Center last night. Yeah, I feel bad. Like light crowd at the Abbotsford Center, but it's a weeknight game. Like that was happening even last year when they were winning. But yeah, the team snaps their 11-game losing streak. Atu Ratu gets the win. His first AHL start, gets the win. Happy for Atu. Happy for the Abbotsford Canucks. They were so pumped after the game. Like Lachlan Irvin posted a video of it. They were just so amped. Like so many high fives. Like I can't even imagine what snapping an 11-game losing streak must feel like. But the vibes were really good out in Abbotsford last night after that win.
Jacob, can we get a tracker for how often Quads anoints a Canucks goaltending prospect the next great thing?
Ty Young.
Koskinen, Medvedev.
Shelovs. I was right about Shelovs, obviously. I was also right about Young, and I'm about to be right about Koskinen.
And Medvedev. So that's what, 5?
Yeah, there's been one goalie in all the years. Can you name the one goalie prospect that I haven't been high on?
DiPietro. Oh, that you haven't been high on. No. I thought you were gonna say who have I been high on that I was wrong about.
No. I was wrong about DiPietro. Dude's on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I was really high on DiPietro.
No, I don't know who you weren't high on.
Who I wasn't high on was Matthew Thiessen. We used to get questions about it, and I'd just be like, "Don't ask me about Matthew Thiessen." I actually felt bad about it in the end. Like I think I was being mean, but like I watched him play, and I was just like, I don't know how he got drafted. Not to be rude, but yeah, I don't know how he got drafted. I think his hockey career is over now. Yeah. Anyway, Matthew Thiessen was the one guy when he was a prospect. People were like, "Talk about Matthew Thiessen." I was like, "No, I don't want to. I don't think that's a good use of anyone's time." So anyway, shout out Matthew Thiessen.
It's crazy to just.
Well, I don't know.
Go off about it. Yeah, shut up, Matthew Thiessen.
Well, hey, I had to call it back. Some people in the chat got it. And someone's guessed Tolopilo. Nope, high on Tolopilo. Really, really high on Tolopilo.
Oh yeah, I forgot him too. You're already up to like 7 guys.
I literally think Matthew Thiessen is the only guy that this organization. Well, they crush it with the goalies. They do. They really do. They crush it with the goaltenders. They do. And having the pipeline that they do, what a luxury for the Canucks to have such a great goalie pipeline. Cody Sievertson goes, Thiessen's in the chat, by the way, big listener. I would feel awful if that were actually true. How did we get on this conversation? Oh yeah, Atu Ratu picks up a win in his AHL debut last night. Shout out to Atu Ratu, who's got long limbs, like just like Nikita Tolopilo. You watch him play, he's got long arms, and he's got really good length on those legs as well. Really flexible, really in the mold of Artur Shilov's, of Nikita Tolopilo. Alexei Medvedev's obviously at a much higher level than all of these guys that I'm talking about. First ballot Hall of Famer. But yeah, Koskembo, good for him. Happy for him.
How many Vezina trophies do you think they're going to get combined? What's the over/under? 15?
This is a good question. Like between how many Canucks? How many
prospects he named? How many Vezina trophies?
Okay, write it down, Jacob. Medvedev will win at least 2 Vezina trophies in his career. But I don't think anyone else.
Quads, I'm not even going to write that down, because by the time that comes to fruition, like, who knows what, like, that we're talking.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say, do you know if we're going to be doing this show together in 15 years? I sure hope so. But
yeah, I don't know. What, you planning on quitting, Jacob?
No, but I'm just saying, I have to keep that. I have
Jacob
to keep a
doesn't
document.
want it enough. Jacob doesn't want it enough.
I have to keep a document saying Medvedev's going to win 2 Vezina trophies for a decade and a half.
We're also friends off the show.
Yes.
So unless you're planning on ruining that too, we should be able to call back to this. Set a reminder, Jacob, book Alexei Medvedev, set a reminder in your phone 15 years from now. It might even be more than that. He's only 18.
You just got to make one of those. Have you seen those YouTube videos where somebody like Mr. Beast is like, hey, they make the video today and then schedule it to release 10 to 15 years from now? And it's like, hey, me from the future.
There you go.
You should make one of those on Canucks Army with all your goalie related predictions.
I like it. Yeah, Alexei Medvedev, 2 Vezinas, but I don't think anyone else is going to get a Vezina trophy. But yeah, 2. Right? Put me down for 2.
I've got you down for 2.
Hold on. I need to check this before I read it on air. I just need to read something. Hold on. Give me a sec. It's a funny comment. I just need to. Yeah. Okay. Walking Blind in the chat said, so in 10 years, Demco has been a Canuck. He's played 268 games. I thought originally I thought he meant 10 years from now, like he'll have played 268 total, because he's only played 252 in the regular season, and then he's played 9 playoff games as well. I wanted to say this about Demko as we kind of transition off of goaltender to another goaltender, because I was thinking about this. It was a conversation that people were having in the chat yesterday. We didn't really dive into it. We talked about it with Jeff, but the extension for Demko wasn't a mistake. I can't stop coming back to this idea that the Canucks extended Demko because they believed in his new training and that he was going to be changing up his training to be more preventative. And the second part of that being that the Canucks did a pretty good job of limiting Demko's workload. Like in years past, when he would break down, you could kind of point to, well, they shouldn't have done this or they shouldn't have done that. And I know there's going to be people that are saying they rushed him back. Like, I don't think that was the case here. I think Thatcher, if anything, would have rushed himself back. But if it's, if it's unrelated to the maintenance that he had, then that's not even something you can bring up. So what I'm really getting at is that, like, the Canucks didn't really do anything that you can point to and be like, oh, they should have done this differently, other than maybe not signing the extension in the first place. That aside, like, they didn't play the wheels off of him, and that was a real temptation with the way he was playing to start the year.
Sure. I think when you look at the 23-24 season, which I think started the domino effect of all the injuries, that stands out to me, where the Canucks had already sealed a playoff spot, but because they were so desperate to win the division, they kept rolling Demko out in the second half way more than they should have, which led to that initial injury in March 2024, which he probably, wanting to be ready in time for the playoffs, maybe rushed back, maybe didn't, and then got hurt again, which led to the popliteus. And then you don't know what compensation injuries have happened since then because of it. So yes, in this very instance, this season, there's not really anything I can point to and say the Canucks didn't manage this the right way. But the in past years, yeah, I
The
think
damage
they've
might
had
have
an
been done,
issue.
is what you're saying.
100%. I think they played Demko too much.
Yeah, that's true. That's undeniably true. Kelly Canuck agreeing with you, and then LC250 saying in 23 to 2024 season, Demko started one game every 3.06 days. That's one of those things that I should have probably checked before reading it, but LC250 is trustworthy, I think. All right, let's get to. Oh yeah, I said we would talk about it. Abbotsford Canucks no longer playing at the Abbotsford Center. Rogers Forum. Get used to that. That is the new name of the building formerly known as the Abbotsford Center, which was formerly known as the Abbotsford Sports and Entertainment Center. It is now Rogers Forum. The Canucks, Rogers, and the city of Abbotsford announcing the partnership this morning. Rogers Forum. That's the new name of the Abbotsford Canucks venue.
It feels like every venue is a Rogers venue now.
What do you mean feels like? It is.
Well, even it's Rogers Field at Nat Bailey Stadium.
Yes.
And then there's Rogers Center in Toronto, Rogers Place in Edmonton. It's becoming a lot. And I'll say this to transition away from specifically the Rogers and the Abbotsford Arena rename. I haven't liked some of the recent just name changes in general. Like, to me, Crypto.com Arena should have always been Staples Center. That was such a Crypto.com Arena, really. In Minnesota, XL Energy Center. I'm still going to call it XL Energy Center. I don't want to call it Grand Casino Arena or whatever the hell it's called now. I haven't liked some of these recent name changes.
The Invisalign Center isn't it the Hurricanes practice?
Yeah. I saw that and I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, Invisalign Center. Like, what? Hey, at least it's not DP World Arena, right?
Soon we're gonna get the Ozempic Forum or something.
You're not wrong, Harm. You got the Ozempic commercials on every commercial break.
Sponsors the Hockey Night in Canada. They have a whole segment. So if you already got Crypto.com securing naming rights for LA's arena, which doesn't just host the Kings, but also the Lakers and Clippers, I mean, eventually we're going to hit a limit.
The Clippers actually moved out. They're in the Intuit.
Really?
They're in the brand new Intuit Dome.
That doesn't sound any better.
Yeah. Really, really cool arena though.
Good
they have behind one of the baskets, there's no upper bowl. It's a lower bowl all the way up. So it's like, I think it's like 60 rows without a break all the way behind one of the baskets. And that's it's meant to be like for the hardcore fans. So tickets are cheaper and it's for Clippers fans only. Yeah. I don't know how well it's worked out for them.
What happened to arena names? Seriously. Like, company names suck now. That's my new take. Company names. It's the company's fault. General Motors Place, awesome name. The Honda Center, although that's still called the Honda Center, isn't it?
Yep. It's still the Honda Center.
Is there?
But you know what that was called before it was the Honda Center, though, right?
No, tell me.
It was the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim.
All right.
Which is objectively cool.
Was there ever a Toyota Center? Toyota Arena?
Toyota Center is in Houston. It's where the Rockets play.
Yeah.
So
my favorite car brand, personally.
In Louisville, they have the KFC Yum ! Center.
Yeah.
No, you obviously don't pronounce the exclamation mark in it, but it's KFC Yum Center.
Yes.
What do you mean?
It's called the KFC because that's the parent company that owns KFC is Yum Brands. So it's called the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky, which is why it's KFC. So
if they ever change the name of Madison Square Garden, I'm going to riot. That's where can't change MSG.
No, it's one of the very few venues in sports that hasn't sold out to a corporate sponsor. Although Madison Square Garden is a corporation now, but the corporation came from the arena name, not the other way around. Yeah, there's not many left. But Quads, you're right. The old arena names were just so much better. Like even in Colorado, I still call it Pepsi Center. It's Ball Arena now.
Yeah.
After like plastic container company and mason jars, mason jars and plastic containers, right? Like, you know,
give me the Pirate Pack Center. Trouble on
Toronto?
Demand said Pirate Pack
Center.
Oh
yeah, Air Canada Center versus Scotia. I mean, Joe Louis Arena getting torn down, and now they play in Little Caesars Arena. That's unforgivable.
Okay, we got to stop bad mouthing all these brands. We're just diminishing the list of companies that'll never sponsor this podcast. All right. Yeah, sorry, I wanted to point this out. Someone quote tweeted it, and it was really funny that where'd it go? I gotta see this. Hold on. There it is. It was Paolo on Twitter. He said, Canada tour announced. Vancouver, Rogers Arena. Abbotsford, Rogers Forum. Edmonton, Rogers Place. Toronto, Rogers Stadium. Toronto, Rogers Center. Ottawa, also Rogers Center, but a different one. Like, this is where we're at. It's just, yeah. Anyways. All right. I got nothing else.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Did I have anything else? No, I don't think so. I got, Abbotsford Canucks win. We got David Kampf in. We got Canucks practice notes in. We'll be talking tomorrow about the game. Tom B throwing out some names. Put it down, Jacob Arena. Quad 6'6" big boys arena. Hachiroku. Well done, chat. All right, we'll see everyone tomorrow. Before that, though, let's get to our Bet365 bet of the day, brought to you by Bet365. Tonight, the Anaheim Ducks are taking on the Detroit Red Wings. We like the Anaheim Ducks on this show. The Anaheim Ducks are road underdogs at plus 125 odds. Ducks to beat the Red Wings. You can get that at plus 125. That was our bet of the day. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get on the game. Use the code NATION at Bet365. Must be 19 plus to play. If you choose to play, please play responsibly. We'll wrap it up there. For my co-host Harmon Dial and our technical producer Jacob Lazar, my name is Dave Grelli. Thanks so much to the episode of Canucks Conversation. Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.